Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, we'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 11 of the anime series Norn9. Holy hell! Is all hell breaking loose? Was this all a dream? Was this Itsuki's mystical, magical abilities coming to the fore in this episode? I'm not really sure by the end, because of course we're beginning. The large majority of the first half of the episode is everyone kind of mulling over the new details about, what the reset embodies, how they're all going to have to come together, make a decision, and, you have Mikoto sort of looking over Natsuhiko, who is convalescing and thankfully not dead, but she seems really sort of re-energized by her interaction with him, and Sakuya, unfortunately, is kind of feeling the burn. He couldn't be there in that kind of a fashion for Mikoto and everything like that, and there's some tension there, what can you say? But it seems like the majority of the focus is very much sort of flip-flopping back and forth between Sorara and Aion, as well as Kakeru and Koharu, and it's very much about Koharu by the end. And it's like I'm not quite sure what they're trying to imply, whether this reset that does take effect, and we see everyone's powers being siphoned away, but is this real or isn't it? There is that line of dialogue, enjoy or dream or whatever it is, and I found myself largely wondering, is this kind of like a test phase to try to get everybody in sync and make it look all beautiful and beneficial for them all, with the exception, of course, of Koharu, who, for one reason or another, Kakeru and Koharu seem to be in different planes than everyone else. There's a door, it's kind of like something out of Kingdom Hearts, where, Kakeru sees his father beckoning him through the door, and Koharu just sort of goes on her own, thinking that Kakeru will eventually find her, no matter where she is, and that kind of happens. Like, they're in the same place, but this sort of ghostly version of him walks completely past her, and she's seeing glimpses of everyone else having someone to be with and not being lonely and all these things. And these are things very personally affecting to Koharu. And I thought it was also interesting in the idea of, the tantalizing prospect for Koharu to realize she could maybe exist without this fire starter-esque power that she really has always seemed uncertain about and afraid of. From the very first, depiction of her using it, trying to fend off the attack, or what was presumed to be an attack from Natsuhiko and everything like that earlier in the series, it seemed like this was something that scarred her and she was very much fearful of. And so I began to think, like, if you're trying to get in the minds of these characters, Mikoto already seems to have come across a certain decision to that degree in her being motivated by Natsuhiko, but at the same time for Koharu, just tell her, hey, your power will be gone. Of course, there are reservations on everyone's part, because they're talking about your memories could be rewritten, the whole history of the world could be rewritten, and especially for Sarada, this is something that personally is sort of attached to him, because he is, as we learned in the last episode, have confirmed again in this episode, basically the genetic and soul counterpart of a reincarnation of the scientist that created Ein, would go on to evolve into Aion and all this kind of stuff. And so she kind of, as an AI, it's interesting that she has a personal stake in that as well, having that connectivity. Calling back on the precursor version, wanting her to sing, and here's Sorara very much asking her the same thing, saying this kind of really puts me at ease and makes everything feel good and all that kind of stuff when I hear you, humming this melody, whatever it is. And it's a beautiful melodic thing that, it's such an interesting contrast with the then destruction that unfolds seemingly in what is apparently the reset coming to the fore. They're using the abilities to nuke the planet, wash it away, destroy everything, every remnant, and then, of course, Koharu just is in what she calls the peaceful earth, or the peaceful world, or whatever it is. And there was even somebody said something in the episode like, imagine humanity, or is humanity really going to be satisfied and feel protected and stable under the world's power. And I'm thinking, psychopaths, anyone? You know? But by the end, as this is unfolding, Koharu is the pitch of loneliness. She's the singular most character. And I don't know if this was a simulation reset, if this was the actual reset, and she managed to sort of use her power, explode out of this. I mean, they would have had to have taken her power to put the reset across, which is kind of like, as some of the characters said, nobody made a decision to do this. Aion decided to do this on her own volition. But again, you have the one guy being like, have a nice dream, you know. So it's like real simulated, real interrupted. I don't know exactly. It doesn't seem like it was real because Norn is still very much in its same place and taking off as though by the end of the episode it had earlier in the episode when the supposed reset was beginning. And I love a lot of the imagery there too, with like all the swirling elements, and you see like Norn sort of stuck in the middle of it. But as Kakeru kind of like is shunted out of, I guess, what is a dream, a simulation, he's right there next to Koharu, who is exploding with her flame-on abilities. Cliffhanger. So, like, is she propelling the reset? Is she corrupting the reset? None of these characters have voiced any decisions one way or the other, and I'm somewhat perplexed. And this show has done that several times. You know, brings you to a boiling point. You're just like, what is going on? What's going to happen? And so I'm definitely dead set to see what's going to happen in the finale of the next episode, you know. It was quite an interesting watch. That much can be said at the very least. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. If you've seen episode 11 of Norn9, if you could wrap your mind around it. If you don't happen to be somebody who has followed the source material, visual novel, or whatever it is, video game, all that kind of stuff, none of which I'm familiar with at all. So please post no spoilers. But if you could figure out what was going on, if you were sure what was going on, because I'm kind of uncertain. I think I understand, but I'm not sure. And love it or hate it, anything goes in the comments below. Just let me know what you thought of the episode overall. And so yeah, otherwise it'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.